locked into that idea that you can't serve alcohol unless you have all this food.
Yeah, the 60-40 rule.
It's so nuts, man. And then I'm totally with you where it's like...
Well, then he asked me. He was like, where are you from?
Right,
And I was like, Virginia.
Alaska?
Like, right up the road, man. And that was actually one of the things that I think pushed everything towards SB 604 because seeing that other states were doing it.
Oh, yeah.
It was something that... So the real reason behind SB 604 was to give, an additional revenue stream to help breweries grow responsibly, hire better people, things like that.
Wasn't there a winery thing too?
But that was the other thing. It was to be on the level playing field as the wineries.
Because it wasn't fair to the breweries.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're trying to do this. We're trying to build up an industry.
Right.
Why do the wineries allow you to do this? You can bring in a bag lunch, go sit in the field, drink wine all day, eat sandwiches or whatever. But that was really the main thing. But then I remember coming to the table like, North Carolina does this.
Right.
Why can't we? And, each his own, right? North Carolina ABC is kind of ass backwards too.
Right. Essentially
Mm-hmm.
wherever there's any kind of alcohol control, I feel like there's just, what are you guys doing? Like, this is a little nuts. It's
everybody's hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah,
they're trying to get their piece.
So I'm like, you guys do realize you get to tax us for this, right? Like, let's just keep doing it.
I know. It's not.
You
make
the
money.
It's nuts.
Yeah. So there's that in a nutshell.
That whole process.
Did that answer your first question?
Yeah.
I think we did that.
That whole process in Virginia to have to go through from brewing to distributing to
the three-tier model.
I mean, fuck, I get it. From like what was Prohibition like. 19.
Well, it's a lot of old laws. Even when I was in Indianapolis, they talked about that. Like in Indiana, I went to this brewery called Sun King, which is fucking
very great brewery. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And again, that's where another inspiration came from. It was like, Jesus, this thing started 5 years ago, and now look at like the size of their tanks were just like massive. They just had this whole influx of them. But anyways, the same thing they were talking about. The laws that they had to deal with there was very similar to what we had to deal with here. And then the same thing happened where they said, you can do this now.
Yeah.
And then just like that, boom, Sun King becomes this monster over there, and then other breweries start popping up. But it's crazy how these
worked
laws...
out for us, too.
Yeah,
so.
you guys are doing fantastic.
We're doing all right.
We're doing okay.
I was literally... So after my nap today, I went downstairs. This relates, I promise. So after my nap today, I wake up and I'm like, man, I hope I'm not too groggy when I get in there and I can't talk right. And so I go downstairs and I grab this Powerade out of my little outside fridge in the little shed back there, and I'm walking out, and then on the table is a half drinking El Guapo.
Yeah,
and I go, that's cool, man.
That's cool. Perfect for today.
But it's like it was just a nice little
Yeah.
there you are. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
El Guapo has always
you slammed it. Right?
No, it was from like I think it was
like a
the
cigarette
night
butt in it
before.
last
Yeah,
night.
exactly. Yeah.
Pull like a Butarski. Let's do this.
Yeah. It was that look that we're like, man, it's like more than half a beer there. That's terrible. You know what I mean? There's always that like shame that the beer gods come down on you for not finishing it. But El Guapo has been just this. In this area, I don't know how far you guys have reached, but in this area, it's just a staple. Like I've talked to people, and it's like always
is our bread and butter.
It's like the number one selling IPA in the state of Virginia, correct? Or
it is.
It is the number one independent IPA in the state of Virginia. So there's this thing.
Blue Moon still beats us.
Who?
Blue Moon.
Bastard.
So there's this report that goes out quarterly called IRI data, and it's basically, help me out here, Kevin, because I don't even know what the hell IRI stands for, but I know that I have to look at it all the time. But it's basically a report of beers that are sold through grocery stores and 7-Elevens and C-stores and places like that throughout the state for the number one, selling product. So if you look at our beer through the entire state of Virginia, we are number 5, and we've held that place for almost 2 years now.
Yep.
But if you pull out Blue Moon and other like really major,
the big brands,
we're number 1.
That's dope.
It's cool. And
That's
then if you look at
incredible.
Richmond and Hampton Roads area, we are number 1, beating Blue Moon and everybody else.
Oh,
too.
that's cool.
Yeah, like the big guys.
So what is your reach? How far do you guys go?
So we reach. I'll answer this one as the sales manager. Kevin's like, "Are we on Mars yet? Yeah. Where are we?"
We'll dish up.
If I turn this, is that better? How's that?
It's been good pretty much the whole
It's
time.
actually been, it's
you
been
guys
great.
have been great.
JK. Here we go. Adjustments. Okay. So our current reach is.
Oh, that's a cool can.
Oh, you're breaking out more stuff now? Cool. Breaking out more beers for listeners. So our current sales reach is the entire state of Virginia. We are in the Outer Banks for North Carolina, and then we're up in parts of Maryland as well.
Cool.
So the only territories we haven't broken into in Maryland is Baltimore, according to my Baltimore sales rep. I'm not allowed to call it Baltimore. But
how do you say it? Baltimore?
Baltimore. There's no T. Baltimore. Got it. There's no T. Yeah. But so our territory isn't vast and large, but I think we're doing a really good job of honing down on where we are and just knuckling down on that and expanding those markets itself.
That's perfect.
Well, and I feel like you guys just have such a following and a loyalty base as well. I mean, because I bartend, at Chick's Oyster Bar, and we carry 5-6 different IPAs.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people want the El Guapo.
Want a guap. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's on
Every
my
time.
tap.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up, they just say, "Oh, gotta go." They go, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
They go, "Cool, man." That's
And
what
what'll
I'll
really
take.
make you feel good is, I mean, we have a huge military population out here, obviously, and we get a majority of them that come to Chick's.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we're by the different forts and whatnot, but that's where we
One
are.
of them
We're
bases
local.
over there.
Well, all the bases, and all the girls go there too. Hey,
Y'all heard of jet noise?
The chicks go to chicks, and the dudes follow the chicks. That's what happens.
And that's what happens.
Right.
But we get a lot of people from, let's say they just got transferred from Hawaii, transferred from California, and instead of going with the Lagunitas, they're going with the El Guapo,
Right,
which is
right.
incredible. And I love seeing that because this is my home now, and it's like, support the locals. Yeah, it's
and
great.
El Guapo is like a threefold. It's brilliant marketing behind it because it's got the goofy ass name that everyone loves.
It's a ringer.
It's got that bright orange marketing, and then it's just a really easy drinking IPA that has a high alcohol
Well, I was
percentage.
just gonna say, but it'll
so people
kick
are
your
like,
ass.
yeah, you'll be feeling real handsome after 2 of them. You know what I mean? So
It's great.
And my favorite thing about El Guapo too is if someone's drinking it, and you can't really see this because we're not on video. Well, we are, but if someone needs another one, I'm just like, I look at them, I'm like, El Guapo, do you want another one? And they're like, yeah, two.
I have something that you'll love. So while I can I change subjects?
Hell yeah.
You can do whatever you want to.
So while El Guapo is our bread and butter, I was really pumped to be able to come on here and talk to you guys about some of our other beers that we're doing.
Sure.
So while Guapo is our mainstay beer, we have been really coming out with some awesome brands and some awesome products in the last couple of years. Our head brewer, Kane Willie, shout out to Kane,
Hey.
is absolutely incredible, and he's a freaking genius.
He's in bed sick right now.
He's in bed sick right now. Poor guy. I hope he feels better.
Yeah.
Get better soon.
You guys what do you think about the proper lager you're drinking
It's great.
right now?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Are you doing proper pinkies out?
I am now.
We are
I am now.
So that was a
Yeah,
brand that we
mustache.
came out with in February of this year. Just looking for, a lot of craft brands are going towards that lighter drinking option. Not going to lie, this is actually the #1 seller now at the brewery. It outbeats El Guapo every weekend.
Okay.
Every weekend. People are... When we first came out with it, we had to tell our production team, stop drinking it. We're running out at the tap room. Stop. But,
Well,
yeah.
and it's
Because
perfect
of
for this
Tom.
type of weather too. Like it has a nice maltiness to it.
Yeah.
It's very high drinkability.
And the craft beer explosion and all the IPA drinking started to stick to people.
It's
I
a real
think.
thing, dude.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I've never lost
this
my
is a little bit of home brewing
freshman
right here.
30
Anyway.
of working craft beer.
I
Hate
think
it.
Me either.
this beer right here.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
thank
Do
you.
you have a napkin?
I think
Sleeve.
beer-induced
Sleeve.
diabetes is going to be a real.
Pour some
thing.
tequila on it.
Pour some tequila on it. I'm fired.
Oh,
Here, who wants to do this?
sleeve.
God, I'm that asshole. I knew I would do that.
Oh, you're fine.
No,
Come
it's
on.
okay.
Son of a bitch.
So while we're cleaning this up, Evan touched on it. That can is fantastic.
Yeah.
So
This one,
so
the
what-
Death by Dessert.
Yeah. That's
Oh my
dope.
God, that's beautiful. For those of you at home, we will take multiple pictures of this can for you.
Yeah, so this is in one of our limited cans series that we're now relabeling calling Freestyle series. So our graphic designer, his name's Anthony Brown. He has a lot of fun with all of our graphic designs on our cans. Wait until can you pull out a Pulp Fiction one? Pulp Fiction? Yeah, man.
What's that?
Wait till
what?
you see it.
I like the names.
Like the anticipation.
Okay, we're gonna line up all these cans and take some pictures
Sorry.
later.
Get out of here.
Look at that.
Oh wow,
So we did a blood orange Berliner Weiss
that's incredible.
called Pulp Fiction, and
dope.
our graphic designer took some really cool scenes from the movie and gave them all orange
The
heads.
watch.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
watch is perfect.
Yeah. So funny story. So okay, I'm not the only one.
Christian's looking at us right now like, God.
I hate all of
Swear to
you.
God.
Sorry,
5 minutes
Christian.
in.
You know what's so crazy? I actually thought about filling those glasses. I'm glad we didn't.
Did everybody get some of this?
I mean, we
Yeah,
still
I got
can.
some right here. Yeah.
So this is our Death by Dessert is our new release. Did you get that? I'm sorry. Did I? No. Here, you want the rest of that? There you go. It's our new limited release coming out. No, it came out last weekend.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, Imperial Stout with chocolate, coconut, vanilla.
Oh,
you can definitely smell the coconut.
I taste the coconut.
German chocolate cake. Yeah.
Cheers.
That is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And almost 9% alcohol.
Ooh,
So there
that's
you go.
good.
There you go.
Okay.
That's
There you go.
delicious.
Yep.
So limited release. How much did you make?
I think we do a 30-barrel batch on limited releases now, 20 to 30.
How many pallets?
Sorry, I have now learned as I can now speak barrels and CEs, which is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So in one barrel, there are about 13.1 cases.
Okay.
So times that by 20. So I'm also a history major, so I cannot do math that well. So, someone get your calculators out.
That's a good amount. If my math is correct.
Yeah.
It's a good amount.
So for
it's enough.
We have a little bit of a market to cover.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
And for I don't know if you've covered this before, but for listeners who don't know, CE stands for case equivalent, which is how we track, the amount of sales that we're doing. So like a half barrel is 7 CEs.
Okay.
And a sixtel is technically 2.1.
I don't know what podcast number it was, but go back to the Chesbay president.
Oh,
Yeah,
did Patrick
remember.
cover
Yeah.
that?
Patrick dropped that on us.
Patrick's fantastic.
Yeah.
He would be
Super nice.
Yep.
Number 3.
Was it 3? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number 3, good old Patrick Collins.
Shout out to Patrick Collins if you
He is
listen.
a fantastic human. Good stuff.
Like that dude.
So anyway, I don't know. We got really distracted.
That beer. That beer's super good.
Unfortunately,
That's really
Patrick,
good.
we're with Hoffman Beverage. He knows.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. And I was like,
He knows.
and we were just talking shit about Blue Moon. So
Yeah.
I mean, not in a bad way. Just,
Wasn't talking shit. Listing
we're just
facts.
saying that,
Just listen
guys, can you just let some other people have some, of that top space? But Blue Moon is the
It's
ringer.
like but it's a whole
Yeah,
different
yeah,
type of
yeah.
varietal. If you can call it that.
What you call it?
Literally, I'm like,
That's a strong beer.
Fisting.
That
This is
kinda
a
hit me.
good-looking table right now.
Yeah, I
I
like
love
it.
it.
I love it.
We should start playing beer pong soon.
Then
Oh, the next episode.
he will definitely
Final
kick us out.
Cup!
Beer pong
Come
with
on, damn it,
9%.
Final Cup!
Just start playing flip cup. Christian
Fucking
will really
sink
hate us.
So we were talking about, how far you guys reach. Recently here, and it's okay if I say, I'm just going to say the name, but Green Flash was here recently.
Yeah.
And then they had done the opposite thing. They kind of just shot
Reached
out
too far?
everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an opinion about that, or?
I'm gonna let you answer that one. you boss.
I know the original founder really well. I know he's not a part of the business anymore.
Yeah.
I think the challenge.
Yeah, you met him, yeah.
I think the challenge with Green Flash, and then again, this is really my own opinion,
Right.
is that in my own opinion, I don't think they were as big as they needed to come across to the East Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they could have still made beer back home in San Diego and kept shipping it. I understand the cost of shipping across the Mississippi and things like that.
Right.
But I do believe, I think, I don't know if it was ego or if it was, they got themselves over leveraged, I believe.
Yeah. Right.
And the thing is 15 so years ago, I worked for Specialty Beverage. We were already selling Green Flash here.
Right, yeah.
So it wasn't like a new brand. Now, when New Belgium came across, we've never had New Belgium before. So New Belgium, they didn't build a facility in Asheville at this time, but they were
pushing
coming
a lot of
across. But it was a new market.
Right.
If Green Flash was going to build something over here to be the East Coast was going to be a new market for them, I think they would have really had a better fighting chance at that.
Right.
Not to mention in craft beer, it doesn't relate in every state and every territory. The farther you go out of your stealing this back. The farther you go out of your what we've learned is like the farther you go out of your market, the difference it is. So Real Guapo is our bread and butter down here in Hampton Roads. In DC, Otis, our dry Irish stout, is our number one seller.
Right.
And you have to cater to every market differently. Of course, we're going to walk in and we're like, we would love for you to sell our number one beer. You know, but I think, like I said, craft beer doesn't always translate to every single different market you're in, and and then you want to hit every state in America. Like, good would love to meet the marketing team that tried to put that together.
Right.
Yeah.
I just heard
all
some
900 of them.
And, I was a big fan of Green Flash and Alpine too. Don't get me wrong.
Great beers.
I'm not saying anything bad about them, but I feel like
absolutely.
it's just one of those stories where you go like.
Well, I think also the biggest challenge they did, or the biggest challenge they didn't overcome, was getting the grocery store straight. They were a big enough brand to warrant
The movement over
facings in the grocery stores. They were a big enough brand to